I'd be very interested to compare, contrast this current worldwide thingamajig against the Great Depression. So, like, looking at the businesses that flourished during the Great Depression, bootlegging and bars. So, right, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Why? Because there's, as the good book says, there's nothing new under the sun. It's higher level, higher devil, I guess. Like, yay, we have the internet now. It's the same human condition. Nothing's changed. But what you were driving at, what I think is really great, is like those numbers we have are the numbers that are known, the diagnosis. They like, hey, we have this we have the metrics on. But what about the ones we don't have the metrics on? We have confirmed kills and then we have unconfirmed kills. So it's like, the unconfirmed kills typically outweigh the confirmed kills, by and large. But moving to the next piece of this, if these numbers are climbing, and this is what I find to be kind of the miraculous piece, the good, the white hat. You said 40%. That means that people were willing enough to see that what was going on was not okay. Whereas it took this guy 36 years. 36 years. And it was a very hard road to hoe to get to that point, even with, a suicide failure and still like, I'm okay. I just, Jack Daniels would do that to you, like that's, I'm fine, like all that stuff. But to hear other people that are like, what I'm doing is not okay and I should probably do something about it. Like, I commend them. Again, the stigma piece, whether it's, coming out of the military industrial complex, where it's like, we want people to come forward, and it's like, okay, well, what about you? Well, I'm fine. Okay, you see but this is what I'm driving at. Do you see the revulsion you have to that notion? Okay, that's everywhere. That hasn't gone anywhere. That's great. We can talk about mental health. We can talk about that. And then when we're saying, the magic phrase, others should. Well, what about me? What about me? Because my mental health starts here. It doesn't start out here. It starts here. And that's why I'm a big fan of mental health, or as I like to call it, performance optimization. It has to start right here. And identifying, and even allowing people to, and I am a very fragile person. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to beat on my leg. Oh, I'm hard. No, I'm not. I was one of the self-proclaimed alpha male types that beat on my chest by virtue I'm a child. I had the fragilest ego on planet Earth. And getting negative feedback is not always great, but now I'm willing to take it. Like, the fact that where I started with my professional, my miracle worker, the PhD, she had to really like give me a T-ball stand and a beach ball to kind of whack, whereas now she can throw, a knuckleball at me and I'm like, oh God, oh, not good. How dare you confront me with the truth? All right. Okay, I got to write that down. All right, I'm ready to move forward. But that's what's sticking with an MH program. My mental health is critical to me because mental health is the functionality of the body. It's the functionality of cognition. How many of my cognitive processes were occluded, like a full occultation of the sun because of fear. That was the predominant driving force. I'm afraid of how people are going to view me. I don't want people to know the real me, or what I think is the real me, which is, I'm either good or I'm bad. And I always saw myself as it's just nothing but bad. And that's where mental health comes into play. And it's like the destigmatizing of it, I think is just going to be kind of a lifelong pursuit, for any society, because that requires a degree of, I got to be careful saying this because I don't trust people to tell you how humble they are. I was humbled by getting crushed by my ego. My back broke under the weight of my ego. And that was my humbling experience. But to now make humility an action word versus a concept, it's an action thing. That's what, for Mike anyway, that humility is action. It's not words. It's really action. So if I can lay myself bare with trusted agents, obviously I can't. I've discovered it's not always a good thing to lay yourself bare with certain people, because then they'll use that to their advantage, whether they're loved ones or otherwise. But, definitely trusted agents is a very cathartic experience and a very healthy experience to let people probe on me and go, listen, I'm concerned because you were acting this way. Yeah, but I said, yeah, but I'm defending it. Just let them finish their thought, and it's, again, work, I would never claim to be a work in progress. I'm just working on progress. And that's something I beat on all the time. Like, somebody's like, I'm a work in progress. I'm like, then you are a gold medalist compared to me. I don't know.